If I gave you the choice of being a billionaire at 85 years old, bedridden, sickly, just kind of ready to die, or a 20-year-old in a youthful, vibrant, young body, but with that $1 billion, what would you choose? Hopefully you choose the youthful body. And I guarantee if you were to ask 1,000 billionaires the same question, they would take the youthful body. Because people that make money understand that money is a replenishable resource. You can create it as much as you want, as long as you have that prosperity consciousness, which is able to see opportunities. But life and time is a finite resource that just kind of slithers away from your hand. And as soon as you lose it, you can't get it back.
But you're going to get one body and one mind. And that's all you're going to get. And that body and mind feels terrific now, but it has to last you a lifetime.
This is why there's been a huge shift and interest in transhumanism by elites. Now, transhumanism is the merging of human consciousness with AI so that we can have eternal life. This might sound like a conspiracy theory, but there's actually businesses that have been developed that revolve around this concept. There's a business called Arizona Cryonics Facility, which takes the bodies of people who have recently died, empties them of fluids, freezes those bitches up, and puts them in a cryo chamber so that they can be reanimated in the future when technology is sufficiently advanced to plug their consciousness back in their body or some shit.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! In the name of God! Now I know what it feels like to be God!
You know, it's kind of creepy, some Frankenstein stuff, but people are really into it. And to be able to do this, you need a minimum of $200,000. So if you don't want to spend $200,000 in this attempt to prolong life, you need to focus on the quality of life. Now, I love this quote by Seneca. As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters. It's not about prolonging life. That defeats the purpose. It's about increasing the quality of your life. But how do you do this? You increase the quality of your life by focusing on your health. And there are 4 aspects to health that you really need to focus on that I'm going to show you in this video. Aspect number 4 is the most obvious of the 4, and that is your physical health. Let's define it for a moment. Physical health is your readiness, how able your body is to perform. Can you walk? Can you run? Can you jump? Can you touch your damn toes? Can you cartwheel? How good do you feel inside this vehicle that is your body? If you feel great and you can move and function as a human is meant to move, then you're in good physical health. If you don't and your organs are failing you, you're in bad physical health. Now, there is a dilemma that's been happening. Physical health has been declining rapidly over the years. People are becoming more obese. They've had to create new models to make sense of this crazy world. Plus size models, you know, girls used to look a particular type of way. Now they're like round and spherical on the magazines because everybody is round and spherical. Everybody's getting fat. Look at the picture from the 1970s when everybody was sexy and thin and healthy. Compare that to a picture of the post-2020 world where everybody's bald. Something has happened. Something has changed. Now, if you look at mainstream exercise, science, and health, especially published by PhDs, etc., they'll tell you that, you know, you should keep away from things like eggs. You should keep away from meats. That's the reason people are dying, because of meats and eggs. But I like to look at things from a first principles perspective. Number one, when you look at studies, you need to look at who's writing the studies. A lot of the times, the incentive is misaligned. They don't have your best interest at heart because the people that are paying them are people that own these corporations, that own these pharmaceutical companies. But that's a story for another day. What I like to do is look at what did humans do for the longest period of time and prosper with. What diet, what exercises made them thrive. And when I look at the people in the 1970s, what were they eating? They were eating raw organic foods. They were eating grass-fed meats. They were eating eggs. They were eating fruits. They were eating vegetables. When I look at people in our post-2020 world, what are they eating? They're eating ingredients, foods with 50 ingredients, foods with a range of chemicals. They're not exercising. They're sitting down in chairs. When I look at people in caveman times, the caveman humans, what were they doing? They were running around everywhere. There was no cars, no Ubers. So I do this and I interpolate and come up with a plan. Perhaps it's a good idea to walk at least 10,000 steps a day. That sounds reasonable. perhaps it's a good idea to lift heavy things from time to time, as a human did in the past. The average man in the 1950s, 60s, or whatever was part of the Industrial Revolution. They were working, doing manual work. Today, a lot of us are doing knowledge work, which has to do with our brains, sitting on our asses. So obviously, we're not burning the same amount of calories. So maybe do a workout routine to make up for that. When it comes to nutrition, I believe in the axiom, all truths are about half-truths. You need to find out what works for your body, because one person can eat a peanut and feel great and feel healthy and feel energized. Another person can eat the same peanut and drop down dead. It all depends on your body. You need to find out what works for you, what makes your body happy. I like to use a mental model called the Lindy effect. This was developed by Nassim Taleb. The Lindy effect basically says that the longer something has been there, the more likely it's gonna stay there for a long time. So for example, people have had shoes for the past 3,000 years. Jesus' times, people were walking around in shoes. Today, people are still walking around in shoes. Shoes don't look that much different. It's slightly different, but they're still shoes. The basic concept is there. So we modify the Lindy effect and take a look at it from the perspective of health. What were people eating for the longest times when they were thin and healthy? Whole foods. Just try it out and see what happens. But that's how I like to think about it. And that's physical health. Health number 3 is emotional health. This is sometimes referred to as mental health. This has to do with the emotions running through your body. What is running you? Some people are run by joy, some people are run by love, some people are run by anger, some people are run by depression and melancholy. There's a range of emotions, there's a spectrum. What is your default state? What most people don't realize is their default state of emotions that kind of go and rise up in their bodies are creating the end outcome, are creating chronic diseases. This is commonly known in the East, which really has a big emphasis, especially Chinese medicine, on energy, the energy body and emotions and that type of stuff. When you are constantly stressed and you don't know how to handle the stress and everything stresses you out every single day, and it's like a drip feed of poison in your body. The drip feed of poison can create autoimmune diseases, which can lead to your demise. Or maybe you're constantly angry, in traffic, someone cuts you off and you're just beeping them and you're ready to fight. Or that adrenaline is running through your blood. That can cause you to have a heart attack. So many people have had heart attacks when they were angry with someone. They just drop down dead. A good book on this is The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton, which goes into epigenetics, how our genes get turned on based on the environment. A part of the environment is your body and your body's chemical mix. So if you're constantly stressed and have this cortisol running through your body, you're turning on some genes that might be negative. Another book is Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers by, I believe, Robert Spolnowski, which talks about why we're developing these new kind of niche diseases which people didn't have for a long time and which animals don't have. These diseases come from chronic stress. Check out the Letting Go technique by David R. Hawkins. So what can we do about emotional health? What we need to do is release pent-up emotions, repressed emotions through letting go techniques, through meditation, through yoga, through journaling, doing inner work, shadow work, release traumas, things that you've been holding onto, anger that you have towards someone, learn to release that so that you're not being held hostage by these emotions which are slowly killing you. Bioenergetics, any type of energy work, find out what works for you and cleanse yourself of emotions that are running you. The second type of health that you should focus on is intellectual health. A lot of people think that their education ends as soon as they finish school. As soon as they finish high school or college, school's over, they stop learning things and just start living life on autopilot. This is probably the worst thing for your intellectual health ever. You need to become an autodidact, a lifelong learner, to constantly be challenging your mind with new concepts, new ideas. This will keep your mind healthy because just like the body, the mind needs constant work. It needs repetition, it needs challenges. The mantra, use it or lose it, really makes sense for the brain. So what you want to do is constantly find challenging things to do. That's like learning new language, philosophy, maybe learning a new skill such as programming or marketing. The byproduct of learning a new skill is that you're going to be ready for any changes that happen in the environment. While other people are stagnant, they've learned that one thing that they figured out when they were 18 in high school. You're going to constantly be able to adapt to the new world, especially important when AI comes out. And another incredible thing to do is read books that are outside your comfort zone. So we have a circle of competence, things that we understand. Read things that are outside that, and that's going to challenge you as well. I used to read a lot of business books, a lot of rational stuff, science, etc. But now I'm reading a lot of spiritual books, completely different to the stuff I've been reading for many years. And I'm finding that that's challenging me because it's giving me new concepts I've never heard of, new ideas, and it's forcing my brain to find reference points to kind of reinforce these ideas or to go against them. So it's a big workout. So really challenge your brain for as long as possible, finding new things to do, and you will stay sharp. A lot of people are seeing now through studies that people with Alzheimer's can lower their chances, or people with the genes can lower the chances of developing Alzheimer's. Health number 1 is spiritual health, and this is probably the most neglected of the 4. Spiritual health is all about how connected you are with something greater than yourself, how good you feel inside your own body, and about your whole life. So I tell people that they should live life through a list of personal metrics. Now, these personal metrics might be honor, integrity, trustworthiness, etc. You create a set of metrics in which you judge yourself from. You become your own judge. You see where the scales are tipping at the end of the day. Then you live your life through that. If you are living in alignment with your personal metrics, you will feel good. You will feel spiritually liberated. If you are going against your personal metrics, you tend to feel bad. So if you're someone who's cheating on their wife, you're defrauding your business partners, you're abusing your kids or whatever, addicted to drugs and alcohols, you're probably in poor spiritual health. If you are not connected to something greater than yourself, it doesn't have to be God, although it can be. It could be nature, it could be just humanity in general. You are probably in poor spiritual health. If you are not sure of what your life purpose is, every day seems like a drag. It feels like a chore to be alive. There's no vision, there's no mission, there's no direction. It just doesn't feel right. Then you're in poor spiritual health. And these are things you need to work out to get into good spiritual health. So some things you can do to get into good spiritual health is spending time with loved ones like family, going out into nature, praying, getting clear on your life purpose, amongst other things. Just figure out what is spiritually blocking you and remove it. You know someone's in poor spiritual health when they start committing atrocities. That's like when you're at the lowest level. You hear stories of school shooters, you hear stories of suicide, you hear stories of, just drug addiction, the worst that humanity can offer. These are people that are suffering spiritually. A good book that talks about this is The Levels of Energy by Frederick Dodson, or Power versus Force by David R. Hawkins. They all talk about this spectrum of energy, of consciousness, and how some people with the lower energies tend to be having a bad time. In spiritual circles, they say that the people with the lower energy, people that are stuck in these negative mental states, depression, melancholy, and actually possessed by demons. Scientists will say that it's just some weird chemicals going on in the body. Whatever it is, you need to take care of that. So those are the 4 areas of health to focus on. Let's go over them one more time so you remember: physical health, emotional health, intellectual health, and spiritual health. Do this and I promise you'll be one step closer to living and dying well. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell notifications so we can see more of each other. Until next time.